Stellar Alliance. Paths to Prosperity. Second contact missions pose a significant challenge, as they hold the power to shape the trajectory of two alien civilizations. Crown Prince Mindra found himself once again engrossed in the briefing on the newly discovered humans, searching for any overlooked details that might aid him in this pivotal task. With a gentle touch, he traced the metal pendant hanging from his neck, a cherished heirloom bearing his family's image. It served as a silent reminder of his lineage and the weight of his responsibilities, particularly as he faced this mission alone. Unlike previous encounters where he had been under supervision, Mindre now stood as the sole representative of his people. Fortunately, both parties agreed to approach this initial exchange as a simple gathering of information, preceding any formal negotiations led by his father. Mindre understood his role clearly, to act as an ambassador, absorbing insights and relaying them to his father for further consideration. It was a daunting task, one that carried implications not only for interstellar diplomacy, but also for his own standing within the royal court. With resolve and a sense of duty, Crown Prince Mindra prepared to embark on this solitary journey, determined to prove himself worthy of his role as a successor. Spacefaring civilizations evolve through 5 distinct phases, each marking significant milestones in their journey among the stars. Phase 1. Initiation. This marks the humble beginnings of a civilization's foray into space exploration. They take their first tentative steps towards interstellar travel, driven by curiosity and the thirst for knowledge beyond their home planet. Phase 2. Expansion. With newfound capabilities, the civilization embarks on a rapid outward expansion, eager to colonize and exploit resources across the cosmos. However, in their haste, they often overlook the long-term consequences of their actions, risking overextension and vulnerability. Phase 3. Watershed. The consequences of unchecked expansion become evident as the civilization grapples with internal and external crises. Whether facing aggression from advanced neighboring races or rebellion from distant colonies, they reach a critical juncture where adaptation or extinction hangs in the balance. Phase 4. Consolidation. Recognizing the need for unity and strength, the civilization undergoes a period of consolidation. Colonies and resources are centralized towards the core systems, allowing for greater political and military cohesion. Outlying regions are stripped of resources to bolster the core's defenses. Phase 5. Stability. At this stage, the civilization achieves a semblance of stability within its core systems. Borders are fortified, and a buffer zone is established through the strip mining of surrounding areas. This ensures protection from external threats and minimizes the risk of internal rebellion or rogue elements. Through these phases, spacefaring civilizations navigate the complexities of expansion and governance, striving for stability and security in the vast expanse of the cosmos. As Mindra delved deeper into the mission briefing, a realization dawned upon him. The humans were on the cusp of Phase 3. This presented a golden opportunity for his people. Unlike his kingdom, the humans hadn't yet exploited their surrounding resources fully, leaving a vast wealth of untapped riches ripe for the taking. Despite their smaller size, their potential was undeniable. Recent political upheavals among the humans added another layer of intrigue. With a new leader lacking political experience at the helm, they might be more susceptible to manipulation. Mindra saw an opening to probe into the new leader's concerns and motivations. Inexperienced leaders could easily be swayed to make decisions that jeopardized their civilization's future, particularly if they lacked solid political backing. And if the humans' technology proved primitive enough, his father might consider a straightforward invasion as an option. The success of their strategy hinged on Mindra's ability to gather intelligence effectively through subtle probing and astute observation. Before he could delve further into his studies, the fleet commander's interruption signaled the arrival of the human vessel LSS Beast and its accompanying escort fleet. The moment of truth had arrived, and Mindra prepared himself to navigate the delicate dance of diplomacy and intrigue that lay ahead. Mindra stepped into the shuttle bay, his mind still swirling with thoughts about the disparity between human and his people's technology. As the shuttle door hissed open, he straightened his posture, ready to greet the human dignitaries. The first to step out was a tall, stern-looking figure clad in a sleek uniform adorned with various medals and insignias. Mindra recognized him as Admiral Rennick, one of the key figures in the human fleet's command structure. Following closely behind were two individuals dressed in more civilian attire, likely diplomats or advisors. "Welcome aboard the LSS Beast," Mindre greeted them, offering a respectful nod. "I am Captain Mindre, commander of this vessel. It's an honor to host you." Admiral Rennick returned the nod with a firm handshake. "Captain Mindra, the honor is ours. Thank you for receiving us on such short notice." Mindra gestured for them to follow as they began to walk through the corridors of the ship. "Please, let me show you to the briefing room. We have much to discuss regarding our upcoming joint operations." As they walked, Mindra couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. Despite the diplomatic exchanges and cooperative efforts, there was still an underlying tension in the air, a silent acknowledgement of the differences between their two civilizations and the potential for conflict that lurked beneath the surface. But for now, they had a common goal to focus on, and Mindra was determined to see it through to the end. Mindre appreciated Steve's willingness to adapt to their cultural customs, despite the inherent differences between their species. It was a sign of respect and a step towards fostering understanding and cooperation. As they made their way to the dining area, Mindre engaged in light conversation with Steve and his advisors, exchanging pleasantries and sharing anecdotes about their respective worlds. Despite the language barrier and the novelty of the encounter, there was a sense of camaraderie beginning to form, a recognition of shared goals and mutual interests. The dining table was set with a variety of dishes, carefully prepared to accommodate the dietary needs of both species. Mindra watched as Steve and his advisors sampled the Siyab cuisine, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and appreciation. "I must say this is quite delicious," remarked William, taking another bite of the savory stew. "I'm glad you enjoy it," Mindra replied with a smile. "Our chefs take great pride in their culinary skills." As they enjoyed their meal together, the atmosphere became more relaxed, the initial tension dissipating with each passing moment. Mindra seized the opportunity to steer the conversation towards more substantive matters, subtly probing for insights into the humans' technological capabilities and their political landscape. "So, Steve, tell me more about the Al-Nilam cluster," Mindra began, his tone casual yet inquisitive. "What are your primary industries, and how do you manage your diplomatic relations with other neighboring civilizations?" Steve leaned back in his chair, considering Mindra's questions thoughtfully. "Well, the Al-Nilam cluster is primarily known for its advancements in renewable energy and interstellar trade. As for our diplomatic relations, we strive to maintain open channels of communication with all neighboring civilizations, fostering cooperation and mutual understanding whenever possible." Mindra nodded, filing away the information for future reference. It was clear that there was much more to learn about the humans and their place in the galaxy, but for now, he was content to continue building rapport and laying the groundwork for future collaboration. Steve took a moment to collect his thoughts, his expression growing more serious as he considered Mindra's question. It was evident that the issue with Station Alnitak weighed heavily on his mind, despite his attempts to downplay its significance. "Well, Station Alnitak is a crucial hub for interstellar trade within the Al-Nilam cluster," Steve began, his voice tinged with a hint of frustration. "The deal that McAdam struck with them was meant to solidify our economic ties and ensure mutual benefit. However, it quickly became apparent that the terms of the agreement heavily favored Station Alnitak and its allies, leaving our own industries at a significant disadvantage." He paused, his gaze turning inward as he recalled the tumultuous negotiations that followed. "I refused to stand idly by while our economy suffered under the weight of unfair trade practices. So I took the necessary steps to nullify the agreement and renegotiate with Mintaka, a neighboring system with whom we share a more equitable relationship." Steve's eyes met Mindra's, a flicker of determination shining through. It was a difficult decision, one that faced fierce opposition from those who stood to benefit from the status quo. But I firmly believed that it was the right thing to do for the people of the Al-Nilam cluster. Mindra nodded, impressed by Steve's resolve in the face of adversity. It was clear that he was not just a figurehead, but a leader committed to the well-being of his constituents. "Your commitment to fairness and equity is commendable, Steve," Mindra remarked, offering a sincere smile. "I can see why your people have placed their trust in you. If there's anything I can do to support your efforts, please don't hesitate to ask. Our two civilizations may be different, but our goals are ultimately the same: prosperity and peace for our people." Mindra's eyes widened as he took in the expansive display of the galaxy, each star representing a different civilization, each color representing a distinct faction or alliance. It was a tapestry of complexity and diversity far beyond anything he had imagined. "So many different factions," Mindra murmured, his mind racing to process the implications, "and each with its own interests and agendas." Steve nodded solemnly, his expression grave. "Yes, it's a delicate balance of power and diplomacy. The Alnilam cluster is just one piece of the puzzle, but it's a crucial one." As Mindra studied the map, he couldn't help but feel a sense of apprehension creeping over him. The Drekap kingdom may have been powerful within its own borders, but in the vast expanse of the galaxy, they were just one player among many. "And what about that highlighted star?" Mindra asked, his gaze drawn to the solitary beacon amidst the sea of colors. Steve's expression softened, a faint smile playing at the corners of his lips. "That," he said, his voice tinged with a hint of reverence, "is Earth, our home." Earth, the birthplace of humanity nestled among the countless stars of the galaxy. It was a humbling realization, a reminder of just how small they were in the grand scheme of things. "We may be fractured, but we're united in our shared heritage," Steve continued, his tone tinged with pride. "And together we can accomplish great things." Mindra nodded, his mind buzzing with newfound understanding. The galaxy was a vast and wondrous place, filled with untold wonders and dangers alike. But with allies like Steve and the people of Earth by their side, perhaps they stood a chance of carving out their own destiny among the stars. As Mindra and Steve continued their conversation, the gravity of the situation began to sink in even further. Mindra couldn't help but wonder about the potential ramifications of their encounter with humanity on the broader galactic stage. "Steve, I have to admit, the prospect of being the first aliens your species has encountered is both exhilarating and daunting," Mindra confessed, his tone thoughtful. "It's a tremendous responsibility, one that I don't take lightly." Steve nodded in understanding, his expression sympathetic. "I can only imagine how overwhelming it must feel. But please know that you're not alone in this. The entire Alnilam cluster is eagerly awaiting the opportunity to learn from you and establish friendly relations." Mindra appreciated Steve's reassurance, but he couldn't shake the feeling of uncertainty that lingered in the back of his mind. "I just hope that our presence doesn't inadvertently spark conflict or unrest among your people. The last thing we want is to cause harm." Steve placed a reassuring hand on Mindra's shoulder, his gaze steady. "I understand your concerns, Mindra, but I truly believe that our encounter has the potential to bring about positive change for both our civilizations. Together, we can overcome any challenges that may arise." Their conversation turned to more practical matters as they discussed the logistics of the upcoming ambassadorial visit and the establishment of the outpost station. Mindra found himself feeling grateful for Steve's guidance and support, realizing that he had found a true ally in the human leader. As they parted ways, Mindra couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation for the future. Despite the uncertainties that lay ahead, he was determined to approach the coming days with an open mind and a hopeful heart, ready to embrace whatever opportunities and challenges awaited them in this new chapter of their shared journey.